I did it again. I bought the headphones. The ones I've wanted for 6 months. I could afford them. It wasn't an impulsive decision, but as soon as I got the email receipt, I just felt this wave of guilt. I immediately thought of all the other things I could have done with that money. Saved it, invested it. Why does spending money, even on things I want, feel so wrong?
Because you think the problem is about money. Most people do. They think the solution is a better budget, a better spreadsheet, stricter rules. But the guilt you're feeling isn't a financial problem. It's a clarity problem.
A clarity problem? What does that mean? I'm clear I wanted the headphones. I'm also clear I should be saving more. That's the conflict.
And that conflict comes from a popular belief. A belief that being good with money means spending less.
Yes, exactly. Isn't that the goal?
That sounds logical, but it's a trap. The goal is not to spend less. The goal is to get more life from the money you spend.
Okay, get more life. That sounds nice, but it's very abstract. My bank account is not abstract.
Let's make it concrete. What's the most common piece of financial advice you hear?
Stop buying coffee. The daily latte, pack your own lunch, cut the small things.
Exactly. It's the idea that a rich life is built by saving $5 at a time.
It makes sense. Small amounts add up over time. It shows discipline.
And it's why most people fail. Because it creates a feeling of constant, low-level deprivation. Every single day, you have to say no to a small pleasure. It drains your willpower.
I feel that. I'll skip buying coffee for a week and feel good. Then I get stressed and buy a $100 jacket I don't need.
Because you're focused on the wrong things. You're trying to optimize decisions that are essentially trivial.
Trivial? But everyone says those small things are the key.
Think of your spending like a garden. You have a few very large trees, and you have hundreds of small weeds. The common advice tells you to spend all day, every day, pulling tiny weeds. It's exhausting.
And the big trees are still there.
The big trees are still there. Your rent or mortgage, your car payment, your 3 biggest monthly bills. Changing one of those decisions, like keeping your car for 2 more years, or choosing a slightly less expensive apartment, saves you more money than a lifetime of skipping coffee. But it only requires one decision, not 365 decisions every year.
So you're saying ignore the small daily purchases? That feels wrong.
Not ignore them, just see them for what they are. Trivial. They are not the source of your financial stress. The real problem is we apply the same amount of mental energy to buying a coffee as we do to choosing a holiday. We haven't defined what matters.
Okay, I see the point about the big expenses, but there's still this feeling of good spending versus bad spending.
Tell me more about that. What's good spending?
You know, spending on books or education, things that improve you. Bad spending is, I don't know, video games, expensive dinners, things that are just for fun.
And who decides which is which?
Society, I guess. It's just the feeling you get. Spending $200 on an online course feels responsible. Spending $200 on a concert feels indulgent.
This is the second barrier. We adopt a set of rules about money that aren't our own. We spend money on things we think we should want instead of what we actually want.
Because we don't want to seem foolish or irresponsible.
Exactly. But the result is a life that doesn't quite fit. Imagine 2 people. Person A spends $2,000 on a beautiful, high-end bicycle. They use it every weekend. It connects them with nature, keeps them healthy, and brings them incredible joy.
Okay.
Person B spends $2,000 on a classic designer handbag. They were told it's a great investment, an iconic piece, but they're afraid to use it. It sits in their closet, protected by a dust bag.
And they probably feel guilty when they do use it.
Which person made the better purchase?
The one who bought the bicycle.
Why? The handbag might have better resale value.
Because the bike actually made their life better. It wasn't about the object, it was about the experience it gave them. It brought them, I don't know, happiness.
Precisely. The only true measure of a purchase is the long-term fulfillment it delivers to you, not to anyone else.
So if video games bring someone fulfillment, then a $500 gaming console could be a good purchase for them.
It could be the best $500 they spend all year, if it's their primary way to de-stress, connect with friends, and experience joy. For another person, that same console would just gather dust. The value is not in the item. It's in the experience it provides to the individual.
This is making me rethink my headphone purchase. The guilt came from the idea that headphones are a bad purchase, a luxury.
Let's reframe that. What fulfillment will they bring you?
I work from home, I'm on calls all day, and I love music. Good audio quality lets me focus, it calms me down, It genuinely improves my workday every day.
So they are not a luxury. They are a tool for a better daily experience.
Okay, this helps with the guilt, but it doesn't solve the basic problem. I still have a limited amount of money. I can't just buy everything that brings me fulfillment. This leads back to needing a budget, a set of rules.
And what does the word budget feel like to you?
A cage, a diet, a list of things I can't do. It's about restriction.
This is the third and most important belief we need to change. We see a budget as a tool of restriction. It's a list of no's.
Because it is. No, you can't eat out more than twice this month. No, you can't buy new clothes.
And that's why it fails. Humans are not motivated by restriction. We are motivated by goals, by a vision of a better life. We've been using the tool completely backwards. How can a budget be anything else? A budget should not be a restriction plan. It should be a permission plan.
A permission plan.
Its job is not to stop you from spending. Its job is to give you permission to spend extravagantly on the things you love most.
Extravagantly? Now you've lost me. That sounds dangerous.
It's only dangerous if you haven't done the work to decide what you love. Once you know what brings you deep fulfillment, let's say for you it's travel and high-quality audio, your budget's job is to make that happen.
How?
By creating perfect alignment between your money and your values.
Okay, alignment. So what does that look like in practice?
It means you sit down and define your rich life. If you had to pick only 2 or 3 things to spend money on to be truly happy, what would they be?
Travel, for sure, and my music and audio gear, and maybe eating at great restaurants once in a while.
Perfect. The purpose of your budget is now to fund those 3 things. Everything else is secondary. The budget gives you permission to spend, say, $500 a month on your travel fund. It gives you permission to buy those headphones. To do this, you look at everything else you spend money on. Clothes you don't need, subscriptions you don't use, lunches you don't enjoy, and you cut them ruthlessly.
Without guilt.
Without any guilt at all. Because you're not depriving yourself. You are trading something you care little about for something you love. You're trading boring office lunches for a trip to Italy. That's an easy choice.
So a budget isn't about saying no. It's about saying yes to the right things. The spending plan is what funds the yes.
Exactly. It's a plan for permission. A plan for alignment.
But wait, if this is true, if this way of thinking is so much better, why does every financial expert, every app, every bank talk about tracking every coffee? Why do smart people still get this wrong? It feels like I'm being told a secret that should be obvious.
Because tracking is easy. It feels productive. You can measure it. You can make a chart. It gives the illusion of control.
The illusion of control. Yes, I have spreadsheets of my spending that just make me feel bad. They don't change anything.
Asking yourself, what do I truly value, is hard. It's a deep, personal question. There's no right answer. It takes courage to say, I am going to spend a huge amount of my money on my comic book collection because it brings me immense joy, and I will wear the same 3 pairs of jeans for the next 5 years. That's a radical act. It's easier to just feel vaguely guilty about everything.
So people focus on the numbers because it's less messy than focusing on their life.
Precisely. They focus on the math and forget the purpose of the math. The goal is not a perfect spreadsheet. The goal is a well-lived life.
So let me try to connect all this. The whole system seems to be about shifting your focus.
Tell me what you mean.
Instead of looking at my bank account and feeling restricted, I should start with a vision for my life. First, I define what brings me real deep fulfillment.
Yes, the big wins.
Then I build a spending plan that is in perfect alignment with those values. This plan gives me permission to spend on those things. I can spend a lot on them, actually.
Because you've decided they are your priority.
And that spending is funded by cutting back on everything else. The things that are trivial. The things I spend money on out of habit, not because I actually care about them. All my other spending, the money that isn't for fixed costs, is discretionary, and I can direct it.
You channel it towards your values.
And this whole process has to be intentional, active, not just following rules. I have to be aware.
That is the perfect word. The opposite of guilty automatic spending is not frugal restricted spending. It's conscious spending.
Conscious spending. I like that. It feels different. It feels proactive.
It puts you back in control, not of the numbers, but of the life those numbers are supposed to build.
So when I review my spending, I'm not just looking at categories. I'm checking for alignment.
A brilliant way to put it. You ask, does this spending reflect the life I want to live?
Yes.
To ensure that my discretionary income is creating maximum fulfillment.
Exactly.
And to stop worrying about the trivial expenses, because I have a plan for what truly matters.
It seems you have the whole system. It's not a budget. It's a filter for my decisions.
A filter. I like that.
The question isn't, can I afford this? It's, Does this actually make my life richer? I've never thought to ask that before.